Hello everyone, it's Shane Kantor, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review She Said. And this is a new drama focusing on the work of Megan Twohey and Jodi Kantor, who are two New York Times reporters who broke the Harvey Weinstein case and blew it wide open, which opened the floodgates to all of the allegations of sexual misconduct that came in on the former big head of a film studio. And this film is directed by Maria Schrader, who previously worked on the show Unorthodox, made the film I'm Your Man, which I'm a fan of both of those, like, quite a bit. And coming into this story, there's not a whole lot to work with from like a directing standpoint. This film is very, very basic and doesn't have a whole lot of personality in terms of a filmmaking perspective, because so much of this film is just people on the phone, walk into a room, people on the phone, how did people react to the people on the phone, and that's so much of this movie. Like, the third act of this film was basically like, get a phone call, get emotional, walk to a place, get on the phone again, get emotional, and I'm just like, is this really what this is going to be? And there's one of the kind of things, like, this is an important story. Obviously, it is significant, it affected so many people, and was a big thing. But not everything needs to be a movie. This movie is so exceptionally uncinematic that it just feels completely pointless for me to be sitting here watching this for 2 hours and 9-ish minutes, just being like, this doesn't feel like I'm watching a movie. I just feel like somebody is just standing there and has like these recordings of these telephone calls and stuff like that. And that's more or less what this is. And, you know, narratively, it's just people on the phone. It's not even a lot of the investigating. It's just people. Like, obviously, it's giving voice to the women who were affected by Weinstein, which I think that's important and is significant. It is very distracting when Ashley Judd, like, shows up as herself in this film, when this is obviously a narrative film and nobody else is playing themselves. This film has strong performances. You have Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan anchoring the film, Patricia Clarkson and Andre Broger, who are two of the more veteran presences in this film. They do a solid job. You have the likes of Jennifer Ely and Samantha Morton, who play some of the victims, and they're doing a really fine job and conveying emotion. And it's just, they're trying to make the most of very mundane conversations on the phone, and then it feels very melodramatic when, like, Zoe Kazan, like, gets off the phone and just like and just starts crying out of nowhere, feeling very staged and awkward. This film, like, all the way up until the very end, like, I rolled my eyes so hard at the last piece of this film, because it's like intensely staring at a document on a screen, and it's just like, looks good to me. Somebody else, oh wait, and you're like, could something be wrong with it? And they're like, looks good to me. I'm just like, at that point, I'm just like, will this movie just end? This is way over long. It's so uncinematic that they have to do jumping through hoops for these actors to make this feel like something that we could connect with and really feel on a cinematic level. People give a lot of crap to, like, Spielberg with, like, The Post, where it's just like, it feels Oscar baity, but at least it felt like a movie. This film feels like an important story that was written about, that everybody in society has heard about, that didn't need to be told in a movie. And at the core of it, it just feels unwarranted and feels misrepresented, and doesn't really capture the medium that it's trying to leverage to build on this story. It adds nothing to the conversation that like we haven't just heard on the news or on the internet for years at this point. And in the end, an inspiring and important story, a group of really talented actors who are bringing in its all, can elevate something that just doesn't feel like it needed to be a movie. But, you know, it's a procedural. It hits those beats. It's interesting to an extent. And if you really like these kinds of procedural, like journalism films, maybe you'll get something out of this. But I have a sinking feeling that many regular viewers are just going to be sitting there like, when's this wrapping up? And that's unfortunate because it is a significant and important story. But in the end, this film feels a little needless. But maybe you'll sit there and feel very moved and inspired by it. So give this one a shot. If this is something that you saw seems like, oh, I want to watch that, give it a try. I don't think this is going to have a whole lot of converts, though. In the end, it is something that just didn't feel like it warranted this cinematic experience. But those are my thoughts on She Said. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.